Let's start the show. Let's start the show. Let's start the show. Let's start the show. So, what did you do this past weekend just gone by? Do anything good? Do anything fun? Do anything noteworthy? I was at, if you're listening in other parts of the world and don't know what this is, I was at something called BuzzFest, which is something that the station I work for in Houston does twice a year, and has been doing twice a year, I think, since 1995. My math isn't good enough to tell you how many BuzzFests that is, but it does make it one of the longest-running, most enduring festivals in all of radio. And the lineup is almost always uniformly effing fantastic. And this past weekend just gone by, some of my favorite bands on the planet were playing. Saw Dirty Heads, saw New Politics. Man, if you ever get a chance to see New Politics play live, you'd absolutely take it. They are, hands down, one of, if not the best live band going at the moment. They're just so good. And they're good for a couple of reasons. One, they're willing to set themselves on fire, do backflips and headspins to entertain you. They'll do whatever it takes to keep you entertained. Showmen like you wouldn't believe. But the other thing is, they're the nicest, most likable human beings on the face of the planet. They really are. So friendly and affable that it's just impossible not to like them, because they take that likability on stage with them. You can just tell they're good dudes when they hit the stage. And they're humble, and they are appreciative of every second that they get to do what they do. And it's just, you pick up on that, and it's incredible. It really, really is. Go see that band live. Absolutely, 100%. But as much as it was fantastic to hang out and see a bunch of my favorite bands play and be a part of a day like that, this legendary heritage festival that's been built up in the middle of the country, right there in the heartland in Houston, Texas. The cool thing for me, the thing that wins every single time I go to that thing, is the fact that it's an opportunity to gather, 15, 20,000 people that are good enough to make the old show a part of their day and say, hey, thank you for listening. Thank you. It's humbling for me to be able to shake the hands of people that are good enough to make my punk ass a part of their afternoon. And that's really, really cool. And it reminded me of how important, as much as I talk for a living, it reminded me how important it is to listen. It reminded me how important it is meeting these folks, getting a chance to speak to them and going, I talk at them all the time and they don't necessarily have an opportunity to talk back. But the amount that I got from just listening to what their experience was like, how they listened to the show, whether it was this show in the morning, whether they podcasted it later on in the day, whether it was my afternoon show as they were driving home. And it wasn't about me and it wasn't about my show. It was about their life and what they were doing and what was going on in their lives as they were listening to me on the way home. And it helped me understand how I could add value to their lives, how I could make their experiences better, how I could improve the quality of their day, how I could pick them up, how I could make them smile. Like, man, I listen to your show and I love when you play this, or I love when you say this, or I love when you talk about that. I love when you get into these topics. Such a valuable thing on multiple levels. One, helps me be better at what I do. Two, extremely moving to know that I've managed to impact someone's life for the positive. It almost moves me to tears if I stop and think about it. Almost moves me to tears the fact that I've been made a part of a community. I've kind of grown up on the radio, and I feel like a lot of people over the last better part of 10 years now have, I feel like they have grown up with me. And it's a fantastic, incredible, amazing experience that really kind of puts you in your place, makes you realize what a teeny tiny part of the world you are and how fortunate you are to be a cog in that machine. And the experience I got from that, from listening, from opening my ears and closing my mouth and hearing what people had to say about their lives. Well, not only did it give me good feels like you wouldn't believe, but it's also going to help me do what I do better. It's going to help me make my way in the world. And I was really, really reminded of that. The importance of listening, the importance of understanding someone else's perspective, the importance of caring enough to put yourself in someone else's shoes and understand them. I guess, the professional psychological types would call it empathy. I call it being a listener. And sometimes, as you're going through life, you forget how important that is. Stop. Listen. Take in someone else's life. Understand their perspective. Get where they're coming from. You might not like them. You might not care about what they have to say, but you know what? They are, when it all comes down to it, a human being too. And we're created equally as valuable as you are in this world. And they've got something to say. And they've got a perspective that you don't understand, that I don't understand. But if we can move a step closer toward understand that everybody is going through their own life, and we know a teeny tiny fraction of that. We know the tip of the iceberg. There's a struggle everyone is going through that we don't understand. But anytime you can open your ears and close your mouth, not only are you making your life better, not only are you making the person talking their life better, you are well on your way to making the world a better place. Be a better listener. Better to remain silent and be thought a fool than speak out and remove all doubt. The power of listening. Abraham Lincoln.
Yeah, buddy, rolling up in H-Town, always hot enough to do it with the top down. Cool breeze, palm trees, tonight it's all good in the 713. Whoa, 713, whoa, 713, whoa, 713. I live in 212, now live in 713, but here I am with the H-Town jam. Came to the city with a master plan. H-Town is my home wherever I'm at home. I return to the land of the Astrodome. People call it ice by TV Johnny. Treat you the same if you don't got money. Don't hurry, ever gonna look at you funny. 8 days out of 10, it is always sunny. 7 to the 1, 1 to the 2. Come on, everybody, rep the city for me. 7 to the 1, 1 to the 3. Come on, everybody, rep the city for me. Whoa, 713, whoa, 713, whoa, 713. I live in 212, now live in 713. Whoa, 713, whoa, 713, whoa, 713. I live in 212, now live in 713. Well, it's a punk-ass kid from the 212. From New York City, so gritty, I'm steady coming at you. But I got us out of my mouth, I immigrated, I made it. And in the H I can shine, in NYC I was faded. New York to H-Town is a move I made. East Coast to Third Coast, and I'm glad I stayed. New York, that's where all my dues were paid. But now in H-Town, I got it made. 7 to the 1, 1 to the 2. Come on, everybody, rep the city for me. 7 to the 1, 1 to the 3. Come on, everybody, rep the city for me. Whoa, 713, whoa, 713, whoa, 713. I live in 212, I live in 713. Whoa, 713, whoa, 713, whoa, 713. I live in 212, I live in 713. Whoa. To the 1, 1 to the 3. Come on, everybody, rep the city for me. 7 to the 1, 1 to the 3. Come on, everybody, rep the city for me. Back once again, the ill behavior, delivering and giving you a musical savior. Back once again, it's your boy AD, and can't nobody rock a body better than me. Back once again, the ill behavior, delivering and giving you a musical savior. Back once again, it's your boy AD, and can't nobody rock a body better than me. Hey, you, what's that sound? Coming so loud from your radio dial. AD, be getting down when you're rocking the jams. Here I am, going back once again. I'm ruling all city like the king I am. A master plan, coming from a faster man.
April holiday that all my wake and bake friends look forward to so much. Have you noticed anybody? Have you noticed anybody celebrating 420, Funkhauser?
It's really foggy in Los Angeles today, so I'm not sure if that's clouds or something else.
Yeah, it was funny. I talked to the Dirty Heads over the weekend, and I was like, "So we're coming up on a holiday that I would imagine is rather pertinent to you," and they're like, Yeah, and I just got the impression that pretty much every single day was 420 for those guys. They celebrated all day, and I was like, "You're from California? Did you bother getting prescription cards when it came out?" Because I was like, "Okay, the dirty heads who are a legendary pot smoking band." I was like, "Is there any chance they have prescription cards? Because I want to see what the excuses a band like that." give for I really need it for my glaucoma, my menstrual cramps. I mean, like, what are they? And they're like, no, never bothered, never needed one. Always seem to be able to find it legally. It blows my mind. How many of your stoner friends got prescription cards when it became legal, Funkhauser?
Not too many, because they all want to run for office someday, so they don't want to be on any list.
Are you serious?
Yeah, I have a few friends that are like that. They'll stay on the underground just to not have their full government name on some list somewhere.
Because I have a lot of friends that smoke pot. Me, not interested. We've discussed this on the show at length. I think it should be legal. I think it should be taxed. I think it should become a massive source of income for the backbone of America, the American farmer. It already is the single biggest cash crop in all of California. I think that you could take people out of jail that have been stuck in there for the last 10 years for a dime bag of weed. And even if you can't do that, you can ease a burden on taxpayers by not sending more people to jail for 10 years for a dime bag of weed. We've discussed this at length, but one thing that blows my mind about like it being legalized medicinally in the state of California is like I know a lot of stoners that all continued to smoke after it became legalized. Only one of them went out and got a prescription card. This girl I went to high school with. I was like, really? What's your prescription for? She's like, same thing that got me out of gym class. I have menstrual cramps. I was like, do you actually have menstrual cramps? She's like, well, sometimes I do, but not, every single day of the week. But so few people bother to get a prescription card. Do you know what happens if you're smoking and you don't have a prescription? Is it like, can you go to jail just as much?
Nah, it's a fine. Unless you have, like, a pillowcase full of it, I think.
Sorry, I almost spat out my coffee. The measurement of a pillowcase of weed, that's all.
That'd probably take you right to the clink.
Yeah, probably. Okay, so this looks like a little less than a pillowcase. We're going to have to take you in. Well, to those that celebrate this sort of thing, happy 420. And I celebrate this sort of thing by maintaining that it should absolutely be legal. And as someone who doesn't smoke it or who has no interest in smoking it, I find it absolutely ridiculous that it's not. But I've had this lingering question for years and years because people are like, 420, man. And I was like, what's that? And they're like, well, it's time to smoke pot, man. But I was like, why 420? Wouldn't you just wait until the workday's done? I mean, look, it's 420. You only have 40 minutes left to go. Why do it in the workplace? What's the deal? So Funkhauser did a little bit of research on the term 420 and its origins. What did we come up with, Funkhauser?
There's some city or there's some school in 1971. San Rafael School. It's probably in Southern California, right? Maybe it's in Humboldt County, maybe Northern California.
Okay.
But they all got together at 4:20 in the afternoon to smoke pot behind the school. And my research tells me that's the earliest annotation of the phrase 420. But, there on Snopes.com, there's rumors that it might be a police code somewhere, that all kinds of stuff. But I'm going with the San Rafael high school, and that was code for time to smoke some pot behind the gym in 1971.
Because I think part of the reason why I wasn't familiar with the term 420 until I came to America was it wasn't a thing in England. People smoke pot in England, but 420 had no significance. But what's very interesting is now, years later, if you talk to people in England, the 420 thing has caught on quite a bit, and I don't think they know why it's celebrated on April 20th either. But that has gone from being San Rafael High School code for smoking pot to America's code for smoking pot to now being the international code for smoking pot. And it really is kind of illuminating as to that weed culture and how powerful of a thing it is. It's really interesting because it's a bunch of people that really don't want to get off the couch most of the time, affecting massive change in the world. Like a buddy of mine follows 311 around, and I was like, why is this such a big deal? Why have they become like the dead? And he was like, because they are like the dead. I was like, they don't sound like the dead. He was like, no, because their they're about gathering people together and smoking lots and lots of weed. And even when I talked to Nick Hexum, he alluded to it. He didn't straight out say, yeah, we're all about smoking weed, and that's why we have such a dedicated fan base. But he was like, there's the music, and